So if you have ever been in this situation where you are looking on Amazon and trying to figure out what's the best sleep supplement, or you've gone to the pharmacy or the natural food store and you've kind of just wandered into the sleep aisle, it is so daunting. It is so overwhelming. In fact, studies have shown that the sleep supplement industry is a multiple billion-dollar industry. So this is a huge issue. I think the main issue with all of this is that we don't even know what supplements work for sleep, what their role is, whether they're backed by evidence or not. So in this episode, I'm actually going to be sharing with you some of my 5 top supplements that do not require prescription and actually work. Now, I'm going to put a full disclaimer here. I am not your physician. And when you're using supplements, you need to figure out what you're using it for. Because I think this is what really screws people over in that sense. Because you think you can use supplements for a sleep disorder. It doesn't work. Let's just get that off from the start. If you're looking for something to just optimize your sleep a little bit, then it is absolutely okay to try out the supplements, again, in partnership with your prescribing doctor. So let's get started. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, you absolutely want to, because we talk about all things sleep and we make it in such a way that sleep becomes a thing that helps you to thrive and reach your fullest potential. So my first supplement that really does have some evidence with it, again, in terms of just optimizing your sleep overall, not treating a sleep disorder, is magnesium. And magnesium, not like any random magnesium, specifically magnesium glycinate. That's kind of more of a big hitter. Now, there are different versions. There's magnesium oxide, there's magnesium citrate. You have to be very careful that if you're taking magnesium, like you go to the aisle in the pharmacy and you're just going to see all kinds of magnesium, right? We're looking for magnesium glycinate. And I want you to think of magnesium like nature's chill pill. It is really helpful in relaxing your muscles and calming down the nervous system. The thing about it is you do need to be careful about the brand and the dose you're taking. So you want to make sure that it is a sort of a verified brand. It's not just something random. Typical dosing that I would encourage is somewhere between 200 and 400 milligrams. Now, you want to take it anywhere from about 30 to 60 minutes before bed. It's important that you start low and maybe just increase gradually. By the time you're getting to 400 milligrams, you're not necessarily noticing a difference. There's no point going higher than that. Who does this help? It helps that person who, most times has relatively okay sleep, but sometimes gets that sort of muscle tension, feels a little bit restless. Maybe you feel like you have restless leg syndrome, or you're feeling overall tired, but wired. Magnesium glycinate is a great place to start. And at the end of this, I'm going to tell you about some specific things you absolutely need to pay attention to, because no matter how much magnesium you're taking, if you don't pay attention to these things, nothing is going to work. Number 2 supplement that I commonly use with my clients, and also I've seen my patients do well on it, is actually melatonin. And, I wouldn't necessarily put melatonin in the supplement category because it is a hormone. But for the sake of the conversation we're having right now, I want to just put it there so you understand where we're going. Now, you may have said, I've used melatonin before, it doesn't work. Wait, just chill. The problem is, number 1, you've probably taken the wrong dose, or you've taken it at the wrong time. You've taken it either too late, too early, and you're expecting it to work like Ambien. None of these medications work like sleep medications. These are non-prescription supplements, right? So if you think about melatonin, it is a natural hormone. It occurs in your brain. It is produced naturally in the evening and kind of cues your brain for sleep. It's not a sedative. It's not clonazepam, clonopin or something, or Ambien, right? It's not meant to knock you out. It's something your body naturally produces. And it produces very, very tiny amounts that actually helps you sleep. So the dose of melatonin you're actually looking to use is very low. Sometimes I start as low as 0.5 milligrams. I typically don't go higher than 6 milligrams in adults. And for children, in certain situations, we'll use it too, but even lower doses. The more you take doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the effect. So this is the thing. Melatonin is not going to knock you out. Think of it as a sort of a time shifter, right? Kind of shifts your body clock a little bit. So it is perfect for people who have jet lag, perfect for people who are like shift workers, or perfect for people who maybe are night owls and they're trying to readjust like their sleep schedule. So I will use it very commonly in my teenagers who are maybe struggling with sort of winding down because of that natural shift in their biological rhythms. So melatonin can be a good one as well. Again, depending on what you're using it for, right? It is not meant to knock you out. The third is L-theanine. L-theanine, interestingly, is a pretty good kind of nervous system relaxer. And one of the things that we know about it is an amino acid, right? It's a chemical that is found in your body. We see that it helps promote alertness. And you find it, where do you find it? And most of the time, you'll find it in some certain teas. And what it does is it helps increase certain brain chemicals like GABA and also reduces stress. So it is great for people who feel just kind of tired but wired, who feel kind of on edge all the time. It helps to calm them down. I will start somewhere around 100 to 200 milligrams, about 30 to 60 minutes before bed, and you will start to see that effect. Now, the other thing I want you to know is this. If you take it even during the day, it actually can help as well. It's found in some teas. It can actually help with that calmer nervous system. So absolutely something that you can consider. So we've talked about magnesium glycinate, we've talked about melatonin, we've talked about L-theanine. Now the next two, I'm going to tell you to proceed with caution. Like, these do not have significant as much research backing them, and sometimes literally it's just a hit or miss. The first is valerian root. Okay, hear me out. It is pretty decent. Again, it depends on what you're using it for. In some studies, it's shown that it can help with sleep improvement. And you just have to be cautious about it, right? It works for some people. It takes some time to work. It seems like your body needs to build, sort of get used to it. So usually we'll say anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. So you may not see an effect as soon as you go to sleep. So you got to be patient. It's found in, again, it's certain herbs and things like that. So one of the things you want to be careful about is the proportion you're taking. It can cause, it doesn't smell that great. It can cause a lot of vivid dreams, and you have to be very careful if you're using with other sedatives. Just really, really be careful. Again, I said proceed with caution, and there's a reason why. Many people try it, they ditch it within a few days. You need to be on it for some time. Another one that I would say, again, probably exercise caution, is things like chamomile. Right? Chamomile can improve that sleep quality. It has that kind of mild calming effect. We tend to see it more with tea. And I think that routine of, okay, I'll take some chamomile tea. Some people will take like lavender and chamomile tea. More often than not, it's just that routine of that relaxing little time that you have with your tea. I see people just literally calm down with that. Not so much of the actual chamomile, right? So in some situations, if you use it as your bedtime routine, some people report that it is beneficial. It's absolutely okay to try. And within the same category are things like lemon balm. That also has been shown to have some calming effects. And so again, depending on what you are really looking for, what are we trying to target? Now, let me tell you something. Don't even waste your money on some of the things I'm going to be talking about right now. One of them is GABA, like an actual GABA supplement. It's been sold as something that helps with just calming the brain down. Here's what we need to know. The GABA supplement, like the actual pill, does not necessarily cross the blood-brain barrier very well. You are probably better off taking L-theanine, which can increase that GABA activity, than taking GABA itself. Just something to know to save you money before you go shopping and buying all kinds of GABA from the stores. Now, another one that I'm not crazy about are all these like complex sleep blends that have like multiple ingredients. I mean, some of them might work almost like a placebo effect. What I do not like about it is they may either contain little of everything that you're not even sure that any of them is working, right? And you can't tell what truly works or what doesn't work. And so the tiny amounts of each ingredient may not necessarily give you the benefit that you're looking for. So that's something that I would say be cautious around taking those multiple supplement blends. We just really don't get much benefit from it because you don't know. But now, if you have a very sensitive system, you might actually get it work. You do you. Another one that I would probably say don't bother about is 5-HTP. Now, it's been marketed to increase, boost serotonin and improve your sleep. I would say be careful because it does interact with certain antidepressants. So if you're on medications, before you get on 5-HTP, probably talk to your prescribing doctor to make sure it's safe. And really, there's not significant efficacy data or research to show that it's like the thing that will fix your sleep. The next thing I want to talk about is the timing. So again, I said sometimes the dose is off. Sometimes the timing is off. Sometimes you're using it for the wrong indication. So many times with melatonin, for instance, low dose melatonin, I usually will say 30 minutes to an hour before bed is ideal. If you have a circadian rhythm issue, meaning that you're a night owl and you're trying to shift your body clock, you might actually need to take it several hours, like 2 or 3 hours before bed to get the effect. Things like magnesium glycinate, L-theanine, I would say about 36 to 60 minutes before bed. You know, if you're someone who likes the herbal tea, like chamomile and things like that, just kind of have it as part of your bedtime routine. Whatever it is that you're doing, you kind of just want to use it as sort of a time to start your bedtime routine. And you can just have your tea and read a book and things like that. Now, the other thing that I want you to be very aware of is red flags. Again, this is the part that I said you need to pay attention to, because if there's anything you're taking away from this, I don't want you to go out thinking, yes, magnesium is going to solve all my problems. Yes, melatonin is going to solve. I will be the first person to tell you, absolutely not. And so here are some red flags you need to pay attention to when it comes to using this supplement. Number one is dependency. If you literally after a few weeks start to feel like, oh, I didn't have my magnesium, so I cannot sleep. I didn't have my chamomile, so I'm not good. I cannot sleep. Please stop. Like, you need to kind of wean yourself off and find lasting solutions. Another thing you need to be careful about, if you're starting to see daytime effects, right? So maybe you're seeing more grogginess, you're experiencing maybe vivid nightmares, you're getting GI upset, it might be a sign that things are not going so well. So you do need to be cautious about that and talk to your doctor about it. Another red flag I would say is if you start to build tolerance. And what is tolerance? That is when you start using something and you need more and more and more of it. And I see this with a lot of prescription sleep medications, but I also sometimes see it with people on supplements where they use, 1 milligram of melatonin, it doesn't work. They move to 2 milligrams, 5 milligrams, 6 milligrams, 10 milligrams, 20 milligrams, right? Just trying to take more, thinking that that's going to fix it. Once you start to get to that level, it may be that your body is now so used to it that you actually need to switch to something else. And then another one you need to be very careful about is medication interaction. Again, while these are all supplements, it is important for you to understand that it might potentially interact with something that you're using regularly as maybe your daily medication, your daily regimen, right? So that's really something. Final red flag, huge. If you've done this and it's been 2 to 4 weeks and it is not working, can I just tell you it's time to stop and seek professional help? A lot of these are things, again, like I said, you're just kind of trying to optimize your sleep. But if you feel like this has been going on, I have not been sleeping for the last 4 weeks, 6 weeks, I don't know what's going on, I'm using all the supplements, stop, get the help you need, because you might be dealing with a sleep disorder. So very, very important. You get that help, you get it sorted out, you get an actual diagnosis so that you can actually deal with the root cause and start to feel better. This is really key. So how about some non-supplement approaches to optimizing your sleep? So helpful. This is actually more important than the supplements. The non-supplement approaches are very important. And I have an acronym that I use. It's called Create Restful Sleep Habits. Now, listen to it. It is so simple, but this is a game changer that even if you fell asleep all through till you got to this point, sit, lean in, and pay attention. So, creates is CREATE. C stands for consistency. You need a consistent sleep time, a consistent wake up time, because those are the things that cue your circadian rhythm, that internal clock, to know when to be awake, when to sleep, when is morning, when is night. Very, very important. Number two is routine. A bedtime routine is a game changer, not just for our kids, right? Most times we have kids, we read to them, we sing to them, we cuddle them, all of that stuff. And then we just jump into bed. No, you got to wind down. You got to take it down several notches. So having a bedtime routine is big in helping you form those healthy sleep habits. And then the supplements kind of like just a little icing on the cake. That's literally what they are. And then E is the environment. What does your environment look like? It needs to be cool. You want to keep your bedroom temperature cool. You want to make sure there's no external noise that will be disruptive. So you might need something to mask external noise, like a white noise machine, a brown noise machine, you name it, or an old fan. That also works. You want to make sure that you're not exposing yourself to blue light at night, because all of that will impact the kind of sleep that you get. So keep your room dark, keep it noise free, and keep it as cool as possible. Not frigid, but cool. And then A stands for assign the bed for sleep. Don't make the bed the place where you're on the computer, watching TV, playing video games, arguing with your spouse. No, you want the bed to be the place where as soon as you get in, your brain is like, this is where we sleep. So you want to assign the bed for sleep. T is tackle technology, and that's a whole talk, right? Because if you're exposing yourself to all that blue light, if you're exposing yourself to the TikTok dances, Instagram videos, all that is very stimulating. It is not calming, and that might make it hard for you to sleep. And then the final E is eliminate. So if you're eating spicy foods, if you're eating caffeine, if you're eating a whole lot of chocolate before bed, all that caffeine in your system is going to make it hard for you to sleep. If you're drinking alcohol just before bed, now that might help you fall asleep, but it will crash your sleep quality big time, because it is metabolized by the liver, and then all of a sudden you find yourself awake and waking up multiple times at night. In the morning, you're exhausted. It's the hangover and all of that. So you want to try to eliminate that. One of the things that a colleague of mine says is the best sleep aid is actually finding what is keeping you awake, dealing with the root cause, because we could talk about all of this till we're blue in the face. But if you have an organic sleep disorder, if you have sleep apnea, if you have restless leg syndrome, if you have narcolepsy, if you have delayed sleep phase syndrome or circadian rhythm disorders, if you have a parasomnia, REM sleep behavior disorder, you name it, there's a whole gamut of sleep disorders. There's no supplement. I promise you that there's no supplement that's going to fix all of that. So very, very important that you address the root cause, that you reach out for help. And that's one of the things we're so passionate about at the Restful Sleep Place, because we're all about the root cause, right? We don't want you to feel like you need to be hooked onto some supplement for the rest of your life, right? We want to make sure that you're matched to whatever it is that's going on. We figure it out so that you can actually get the treatment that you need. And we're not playing guesswork, right? So it's really important that you seek out that help, get that help, so that your sleep can be better restored. If this video has been helpful, I want you to share it. We talked about a lot of things, and I think this is something that you might want to come back to. You might want to share with a loved one. You might want to just talk to a friend. You might want to make a decision from here to say, okay, what's the next thing I can do to optimize my sleep? And it may start with, deciding or committing yourself to healthier sleep habits. It may start with giving us a call at our practice to learn about what we do and how we make individuals and their families sleep better. It may start with reaching out to your doctor and saying, hey, I need help here. Whatever it is, take a step towards healthy sleep, because you can be that person who goes to bed with confidence, stays asleep all night, wakes up and feels like you can start singing because you've had such refreshing sleep, so that you can be more present with your family. You could have the energy to do the things you want and you love, and you can be the best version of yourself. We would be more than happy to help you achieve that. And so until next time, I hope you rest well.